In recent decades, the jaguar's habitat has been greatly reduced. There are only a few places where a jaguar in the wild can meet its only competitor among the felines of the New World: the cougar. The rivalry between these species is very spectacular. Cougars belong to small cats because of the peculiarities of the structures of the skull and larynx. But thanks to their effectiveness and success, they were able to spread across both North and South America. They have competitors in their weight category: bears, lynxes, and wolves. However, there are not as many large predators there as, for example, in Africa or Asia. Therefore, the cougar has been able to grow significantly over hundreds of thousands of years of development. A large cougar is 1.5 times larger than a female leopard. That is, a small cat is bigger than a panther. By weight, the cougar is also significantly superior to its closest relative, the cheetah. Unsurprisingly, the impressive strength, power, and experience of the hunter allow the cougar to claim the territory of other carnivores. Although the second name of the predator is the mountain lion, over thousands of years of the species' development, these cats have descended into the mountains and now live in forests and plains. When the cougar noticed a young female jaguar, it immediately went on the attack to take over this territory. A big mistake. The jaguar is smaller than the lion and the tiger, but it is the third largest panther in the world. This predator looks more compact, but pay attention to the muscular paws and body, in which tight muscles are visible even through the spotted skin. And although the young female jaguar is smaller than the mother of the male cougar, it was not worth messing with her. After all, a jaguar is a predator with its superpowers. Just look at how a jaguar rushes straight into the water to take down a large caiman there. A capybara is watching this scene now, and she is shocked by such a show of strength. It looks impressive. The jaguar is not afraid to fight with a toothy, armored, huge reptile on its territory. The cat strikes lightning strikes at the enemy's body, stuns the caiman, and then grabs with its jaws, by the back of the head, neck from behind, and by the throat. The dumbfounded look of the capybara, which was hiding from the reptile on the shore, looks pretty funny. The beast is in shock. Probably the capybara is grateful to the jaguar for getting rid of such a dangerous predator. But after all, the enemy of my enemy is not always my friend. The power of the spotted cat delights and scares at the same time. The Amazon basin is a place with an amazing climate, where there are a lot of living creatures. And a large number of species generates high competition. Therefore, in order to survive, the jaguar had to become a super fighter, and now the cougar will feel the full power of the skills of this spotted predator. The duel of these distant relatives looks incredibly epic. A short chase ends with a frighteningly intense struggle. The cats grappled and turned into a tangle of claws, rage, fangs, and growling. Lightning strikes with paws, constant bites, grabs, throws. It seems that the cougar and jaguar demonstrate their entire arsenal. The jaguar is a female, and the cougar is a male, so the spotted cat loses in size. But the advantage in pure physical strength is clearly on the side of the jaguar. The cougar is surprised. She did not expect such huge strength from a smaller cat. The jaguar is a cautious animal. In addition, this female has kittens that need to be taken care of. Therefore, she is ready to let the cougar go. But the mountain lion considers the kindness of the jaguar to be a weakness, and again pounces on the enemy. In fact, superiority in aggression can really be an additional trump card. Except the jaguar is too strong. The female easily fights back against the cougar, avoids serious damage without problems, and even beats her opponent lying down. The cougar grins and retreats. The jaguar launches a counterattack and knocks down the cougar. The opponents disperse. The mountain lion has learned a painful lesson, and the female jaguar returns to the kittens. The rhinoceros and the hippopotamus are two rivals for the title of the second largest large animal on the planet after the elephant. The mass of an adult rhinoceros can exceed 3 tons, as well as the mass of a mature hippopotamus. It seems that these are equal rivals, which only fuels the competition between them. It is unlikely that the animals really think about titles. They just dislike each other for specific reasons. Hippos are territory animals that may or may not allow other animals to come to their reservoirs. They decided to expel this rhino. Apparently, they don't like feeling like they're not the biggest inhabitants of these places. Rhinos are not used to being pointed out and chased away from somewhere. They compensate poor eyesight with a lightning reaction. Often the rhinoceros notices the threat only at the last moment, but immediately rams the enemy and defeats almost any opponent due to its enormous strength. However, this trick won't work with a behemoth. The rhinoceros understands that it is better not to mess with these two hippos, but still does not leave and does not retreat until it is too late. Now the hippos have approached him from the shore and are pushing him into the water, where they have the advantage. The armored, powerful rhinoceros hide provides excellent protection, but then the behemoth takes overclocking and rams the enemy. Pay attention. The rhinoceros manages to deliver a powerful blow from the bottom up. This is his signature move. With a sharp horn, he could pierce the behemoth's head through and through and to deal with the aggressor with one blow. But animal rights activists sawed off the rhino horn to protect it from poachers. This made the beast unarmed against such pressure. The behemoth was hit by the blunt base of the horn, but this only angered him more. A powerful beast knocks down a rhinoceros weighing about 3 tons, drowns, and its huge jaws dig into the enemy's body. A kinsman ensures him from the back. The rhinoceros tries to keep its head above water so as not to drown. But this is the maximum resistance he can offer. An angry hippopotamus knocks a rhinoceros on the bottom. Powerful jaws bite the relatively poorly protected area under the victim's foreleg. After all, an unarmed rhinoceros should not have messed with these hippos. Cheetahs usually avoid fights with other predators. If the cat injures its paws, it will not be able to accelerate to its incredible speeds, which threatens it with starvation. Therefore, cheetahs often run away as soon as they see a threat. This is not cowardice, but pragmatism. It's of less experienced and seasoned cheetahs. The brothers' rivals are a clan of young but already adult predators. Therefore, a fierce and dangerous battle begins for all sides. Their large dimensions have a relatively small mass. Their bodies are generally lean, and their limbs, although muscular, are sinewy. The young cheetahs escaped, but one of them was fatally injured. His relatives call him, but they will never see him again. The young predators did not know who they were messing with, but now older relatives will be treated with greater caution. It remains to be hoped that this will save their lives in the future. However, experience and size do not always guarantee victory. Here, a mature male attacked a relative. Just look at how frighteningly he steps on it, as if it were an antelope, not another cheetah. However, an unexpected meeting awaits the aggressor. The smaller cheetah turned out to be an excellent fighter. Although the aggressor took advantage of the force of the ramming attack and knocked the opponent down, the smaller individual escaped fatal damage and did not allow himself to be grabbed by the throat. An impressive exchange of blows began, in which the aggressor at first glance dominated, as he managed to hit more often. However, his opponent seems to have taken some kind of wrestling courses in the stalls. He managed to catch the enemy by mistake and delivered a terrible blow with his hind legs. This quickly cooled the ardor of the aggressor, who flew away and then got to his feet and moved away from the opponent. Such a rebuff came as a surprise to the big beast. Meanwhile, the cheetah, which has managed to protect itself, is resting and recuperating, lying on the ground. He is ready to continue with the fight, but the aggressor seems to have learned a painful lesson. The deer thought that his huge height would give him an advantage during a chase through the deep snow in order to break away from the pursuit of wolves. But the herbivore did not know who they were dealing with. Even in such conditions, wolves can chase prey for tens of miles. You see how the deer is exhausted and cannot give battle to 2 wolves, even despite the advantage in size. If at first glance you wonder why the deer did not fight back, now you know. The ungulate barely holds its head straight from fatigue, stress, and exhaustion. There will not even be a final fight. And why would the wolves take the risk? Deer antlers can injure them, and the more dangerous are stab wounds that can harm internal organs. The predators were lucky that it didn't come to this, and the fight ended before it started. They can only finish off the victim with a well-aimed throw at the deer's throat. Underestimating the endurance of wolves is a big mistake. A cougar attacked a young deer and managed to stop it and even knock it to the ground. But the ungulate rose, after which, unexpectedly for the predator, it turned towards him. The deer counterattacked, which the mountain lion did not expect. The cat tried to knock the ungulate to the ground again, but the deer literally began to trample the cougar and hit her on the head several times. The cougar felt like a living rug being wiped by hooves. An unpleasant experience. The predator is shocked, but now he will never underestimate this prey again.
This rare shooting is a spectacle as epic and frightening as it is beautiful. Leopards lead a solitary lifestyle and are usually happy to meet a relative only during the breeding season. But the boundaries of the territory still need to be established. Sometimes you have to use force to do this. This leopard decided that he could tear off a piece of his kinsman's hunting grounds and appropriate them for himself, but he underestimated the opponent. The other leopard turned out to be no less agile, large, and most importantly, fierce. The confrontation of these cats is especially impressive because, you understand, this is not all graphics and not staging, but the real life of wild animals that show phenomenal strength in the struggle for survival. In a fight with each other, the leopard is able to show the whole arsenal of the coolest techniques. First of all, he uses powerful paw strikes. The leopard swoops down on the opponent and tries to overwhelm him, to subdue him. The blow turns into a fight. Each cat tries to avoid the bite of the enemy and at the same time, to reach the enemy with its own fangs. Predators understand each other's strength, so they try to act on this in a big way. They push each other off the slope, try to throw them into the thicket. In general, they do everything to gain an advantage, at least for 1 second. Then the leopard will be able to take advantage of the situation and defeat the enemy. If the battle turns into a close distance, leopards use not only their forelegs, but also their hind legs. They are a bit like domestic cats who arrange their fights. Thus, just leopards are several dozens times more massive, and every blow from a wild predator's paw leaves traces on the metal. It seems that these cats are real masters of martial arts. They move so fast that it is difficult to follow their movements. But when slowing down, real fighting techniques and feints become noticeable. It's like the leopards watched old movies with Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, and then decided to bring the coolest scenes into life. Just look at how the leopard jumps on the opponent to hit him with all 4 limbs at once. Having thrown off the enemy, he rushes at him again, but is already trying to reach him with his fangs. But the second cat does not remain in debt. It throws the aggressor through itself. Just like according to the textbook, you capture, roll in yourself, and a powerful push so that nobody flew over its back. What a reception. Interestingly enough, in a fight with a relative, the leopard demonstrates restraint and nobility. The exchange of blows ends with the cats stopping and dispersing. Then they come together again for a fight, but at the same time, they do not try to pounce on the opponent's back and grab at the throat. Pay attention, although leopards fight desperately, they do not use fighting techniques and do not even aim at each other's eyes. Yeah, they will fight for territory, but it seems that there are boundaries that these predators try not to cross, even in the fight with rivals. As a result, despite the fact that the leopards are fighting in full force, they are alive after the opponent's duel. Moreover, they even manage to avoid serious injuries. Worthy of respect, don't you agree? In the wild, there is serious competition between different types of cats. They compete with each other for food. Although each species has its own preferences in choosing prey, the menu of large predators is at least a little but the same. Lions are the most aggressive to rivals, but leopards do not miss an opportunity to drive a predator of another species from their territory, or even eat it. This leads to very dramatic events. For example, you can see what will happen if the lioness discovers the lair of leopards. While the mother hunts to bring food to the kittens, the babies are defenseless. They can only freeze in the hope that their camouflage color will save them. Unfortunately, it didn't help. The lioness found them. For them, leopard kittens are not relatives, but lunch. But if you think that a spotted predator remains in debt to such aggressors, then you don't really know their character at all. In general, the desire for revenge is considered a very complex emotion. In order to feel something like this, you need to be well aware of the cause and effect relationships and understand the emotional damage that can be inflicted on the enemy. So many scientists are unlikely to agree that the leopard is capable of deliberate revenge. What do you think? After all, we don't know what the cat feels, but we do know the consequences of her actions. She is purposefully looking for a den of lions, and this despite the fact that the leopard is seriously at risk. Unlike her, lionesses live in groups and take care not only of their own babies, but also of the kittens of their sisters and cousins. Even if the mother is not near the cubs, chances are high that there will be other females there. But that doesn't stop the leopard. He finds the lion cubs and does with them the same thing that the lioness did with the leopard babies. Such is the vendetta. Two spotted African big cats, the cheetah and leopard, often feud. Although their coloring is similar, when these animals are standing next to each other, it is simply impossible to confuse them. The cheetah is a much slimmer and leaner animal. Relative to the size of the body, it has a small head and long paws. The spots are solid. Two solid black stripes run from the eyes to the mouth. An adult leopard is much larger. It has a powerful neck, larger jaws. The paws are shorter relative to the body, but stronger, and the spots have the appearance of empty sockets. Besides, these cats aren't even close relatives. The leopard refers to panthers, that is, to large cats. Its closest relatives are the lion, tiger, jaguar, and snow leopard. The cheetah, although slightly inferior to the leopard in body length, belongs to small cats, and its closest relative is, oddly enough, the American cougar. Cheetah is the fastest runner on the planet, which reaches a speed of about 70 miles per hour, 110 kilometers per hour. He sneaks up on his victim and then begins a short chase. Although the cheetah is not able to run for long at the peak of its capabilities, it manages to cover quite a long distance. It usually hunts in an open area where it is most convenient to run. The cheetah does not climb trees since its claws, for the sake of better grip at the ground, are retracted much worse than those of other cats. The leopard prefers ambushes and rarely chases prey. He relies on agility and strength, where the cheetah relies on speed. Therefore, in addition to differences in their favorite habitats, these cats also differ in taste preferences. Cheetahs hunt relatively small and fast ungulates, especially impalas. Although a cheetah can defeat a zebra or wildebeest, it is much more difficult to hunt such strong rivals. Leopards can hunt not only zebras, but also buffaloes. However, such a predator will be able to catch an impala only on condition that the first jump will be crowned with success. It seems that such different predators should not compete with each other. But in fact, they still intersect, and then a real competitive struggle can begin, against which the confrontation between Apple and Android will seem like a dispute in the sandbox. The leopard is waiting for the cheetah to do the same with him as the impala. Who are you rooting for? Do you hope that the cheetah will have time to dodge, or do you wish good luck to the leopard? One step, one more. The cheetah is unaware of the danger. Just a little more, and the leopard will pounce on its enemy, but the cheetah at the last moment manages to notice a larger cat and breaks into a run with lightning speed. The leopard realized that he was noticed and rushes in pursuit. His claws are about to hook and overwhelm the cheetah, but no. The fastest mammal on the planet justifies its child and escapes from the threat. As you understand, such cases are not uncommon. Therefore, it is not surprising that cheetahs are trying to deal with young leopards at the first opportunity. So to speak, they work for the future. After all, while the leopard is young and small, it will still be possible to cope with it. If he grows up, then not anymore. The victim and the stalker switched places. Only the cheetah underestimated the agility of the young leopard. He managed to turn right on the run in such a way that the faster predator flew past. The pursuit continued, but we know the ideal rescue option for a young leopard is to find a tree. In its crown, the cheetah will not be able to catch the enemy. Leopards are well-known loners, whereas cheetahs in recent decades have increasingly begun to unite into small groups and clans. What happens if one leopard meets two cheetahs on a narrow path? Something unexpected. You see how the leopard noticed that he was surrounded and immediately falls on his back. When two dogs compete, the weaker one lies down and shows the strong one his stomach. He gives up. But if you think that a leopard shows with a similar gesture that it obeys cheetahs, then you really underestimate this cruel and strong predator. In fact, lying on your back is a panther tactic in a battle with numerically superior enemy forces. Thus, the leopard is ready to fight off one cheetah with its front paws and the second with its hind paws. He is taking a risk because his stomach is really in a vulnerable position, but the cheetahs did not dare to attack. To run into the sharp, crescent-shaped claws of a leopard, how to get hit by dozens of daggers at the same time. Here, two cheetahs tracked down by a leopard. But they underestimated who they got in touch with. This is not a teenager, but an adult and experienced male. When the two cheetahs approached him, he showed no fear and continued calmly going about his business. The cheetahs clearly do not understand what is happening and are trying to come at him from both sides to attack. Well, it's your fault. The leopard turned around and was the first to go into battle against two cheetahs at once. That's when they realized what kind of trouble they were in. Only super speed saved them from a serious beating. There is another quality of the leopard that should not be underestimated. This is prudence. Here the leopard is attacked by a female cheetah. Actually, these are already adult animals, and the leopard has an advantage in pure physical strength. But he knows there is a cheetah's lair nearby where the kittens are. The leopard understands with what fury the female will fight for them and for her territory, so he retreats without a fight. A wise move. After all, even if the leopard had won, the unpredictable female would certainly have managed to injure him. Underestimate the cunning of the leopard is also not worth it. It turns out that this predator is capable of real multi-way plans. Look at him sneaking up on a herd of African buffaloes. The weight of individual mature males of these ungulates can reach a ton. The leopard is about 12 times lighter. The predator has almost no chance to cope with the horned aggressive giants, and even when there are so many of them. Suddenly you notice a lion in the background. Do you think it's an accident? Or that the lion came to fight with its spotted cousin? No. In fact, it is just the lions that can cope with buffaloes. They cause panic in the herd and begin an epic chase. This is one of the few cases when males take an active part in hunting. Usually lionesses are engaged in foraging, as males have a large mane which prevents them from disguising themselves. But against giants like buffaloes or rhinos, their enormous strength is needed. And when the lion is noticed, it only plays into the pride's hands, so panic among the ungulates will begin faster. The predator's plan works, the buffaloes break forward, and the pursuit begins. The lions choose a weak individual to fight it off from the rest. But that's a completely different story. We are interested in what the leopard is doing in all this farce. It turned out that he took advantage of the situation to his advantage. The panic in the herd of buffaloes led to the fact that the young calf lagged behind his parents and decided to hide in the bushes. The lions didn't notice him there and got carried away hunting, but the leopard seemed to be deliberately looking for such a victim. In the dense thickets, he attacked a young bull and managed to bring him down, and to get to the throat. That's how the leopard practically used the lions to his advantage and was able to catch a calf that he would never have gotten to if he had been guarded by other bulls. How do you like such a multipass? When a whole group of adult bulls walks through the forest, they feel quite confident there. There are too many of them for a lone predator to dare to attack, and thickets from different sides will not allow hyenas or lions to surround a group of herbivores. Well, their confidence in their abilities was superfluous. They obviously didn't know who lived in the forest. The leopard is so brave that he can dare to attack a whole group of buffaloes. Each of the horned beasts far surpasses the leopard in strength and mass. However, they are all the more dangerous for a spotted predator, but he's attacking anyway. It looks like he has an adrenaline addiction. And although the buffaloes are escaping this time, sooner or later, the leopard will have time to strangle one of the ungulates, so they should change the route.